Now, welcome again for another edition of our training. So, in this training, we are going to be learning about margin using our CSS normally from our external CSS file. Now, the essence of using margin is trying to create some unusable space between two objects or between two things on our web page. For example, using our web layout that we've designed in our previous lesson, we are going to create another box in here. Inside this slide, we are going to call that inner slide. So let's see how it goes from our layout. Now here we'll come under slider here. Then I'm going to introduce another class called inner slider. Inner slider, like this. So as usual, the set of declarations we are going to put here first start from the width. So now, because we are putting this inside our slider, so it means we are going to have a shorter width from this. So instead of using 780, we can assume we're going to use 700. For example, 700 px. Then we put our height. Let's say the height should be just 170 px. Then as usual, we put our border as 1 px solid. Then let's say red. Now once we do that, then we save as usual. Then we go back to our index. Now we are putting this inside the slider, so it's going to be in between the opening and the closing tag for the slider, right? So here we say div class equals what? Inner slider. Then I close that. Now I save it. So let's go and preview on our web page. Fine, this is what we have. Now our first assignment is to align this inner slide at the middle of the bigger slide. It means we want to have the same equal size from this point and this point, top and bottom, and that's what is going to introduce us to what we call margin generally. Now in CSS we have basically 5 types of margin. So the first one is we are going to introduce a margin top. We'll have margin top, we'll have margin left, we'll have margin right, then we'll have margin bottom. Now a brief explanation. Margin with respect to our inner slide here is going to be, when we say margin top, we are going to put a space between the top of this class, which is in inner slide, and the top of the main slide. When we say margin right, it means from this point to this point. Then margin bottom from this point to this point, and margin left is from this point to the edge of the other slide. So now let's just assume, when we look at our calculation here, for the width of our inner slide is 700 and the width of the main slide is 780, it means we have a difference of 80. Now what that means is we are going to have equal, the space we have here is 80, so we're going to divide it into 2 and make the margin left and margin right of this inner slide to be 40-40. This is what I mean. So we'll come here, margin left, we'll say 40 px, and margin right is 40 px. Now once we save, then we go back to our browser to refresh. Fine, this is 40 and this is 40. The next thing, so this is what we call margin right, margin right and margin left. Now let's apply our margin bottom and margin top. So the margin bottom and margin top will be difference between the height of our slider and the height of our our inner slider. Now this is two I mean 220, and this is 1. That is this. I mean the difference between two of them is 50. So we are going to say our margin top should be 25 px, and our margin bottom should also be 25 px. So we'll refresh. That's perfect. So this is what we are talking about. Now we understand what is margin right, margin top, margin left, margin bottom, and so on and so forth. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and stay tuned for our next lesson. I remain Ahmad Akurede from Articulate Technologies Concept. Thank you.